Hi, good morning and welcome. John Morris Show presented by the Rogue Media Network. Glad you're with us on this Wednesday morning. Turned a little chilly again here in Central Texas. Not bad. 54 driving in today and a beautiful day headed towards 70 this afternoon. Lots to talk about today in the hour. We look forward to it with Brandon McGinnis and Garrett Ross behind the scenes, making things possible thanks to them. Jerry Hill will join us in a bit, Baylor insider. Jerry, director of sports journalism in the Baylor Athletic Department. As such, he covers everything in Baylor athletics like a glove. So it'll be fun to visit with Jerry about a number of topics. A lot of sports going and more about to begin, with baseball about to begin their season this weekend. So Jerry Hill will be with us coming up in just a bit. But we begin with basketball, Baylor and Big 12 basketball from last night. The Bears hosting 22nd ranked BYU in Foster Pavilion last night. And you know, the Bears had won 2 of their last 3, and the loss was Baylor playing well in a tough environment, lost to Iowa State by 3 over the weekend. So really hoping to continue that upward trajectory against BYU. And for the most part, I think they did. It was a loss by the Bears. High-scoring game, 99-94 was the final from last night. And for the most part, it was a continued upward trajectory for Baylor, but a loss nonetheless. And the Bears fall to 3-9 in Big 12 conference play. The only part that was disappointing and really something Baylor couldn't overcome last night were the turnovers. And the number wasn't that bad, 13 turnovers. Baylor's had more in many games, but they were just so costly the way the turnovers played out in the game. 13 turnovers led to 24 points by BYU. And BYU outscored Baylor in points off turnovers 24-6. The Cougars only had 5 turnovers themselves last night. So that was a real key element in the loss by Baylor in the game last night. You talk about a display of talent on the floor. It was there, and that was evident from before even the game tipped off. We were told by Josie Hutton, Athletic Communications, there were 21 NBA scouts from 15 NBA teams that were there last night. And who were they there to see? Well, probably A.J. Debonsa, the outstanding 6'9" freshman for BYU, but also Tunde Yesufu for Baylor, the freshman from Benin, the country of Benin. And those 2 and others, I'm not saying it was just those 2, but those 2 probably made it a must-see game for those NBA scouts to attend. And, man, did those guys deliver last night. First for A.J. Debonsa, he had 36 points, 5 rebounds, 7 assists, and 1 turnover in the game last night, and he was just spectacular. Pat Nunley and I doing the game, talking about him and sort of comparing him to other freshmen we had seen in the Big 12, even very recently, like Darren Peterson for Kansas. We saw him, and he was unbelievable. But Debonsa was just, to me, a different level. I think Pat and I both agreed on that, different level, because he does so much, and he's 6'9" and handles the ball well. And like I said, 7 assists and 1 turnover for Debonsa in the game last night. So he was great. Part of that conversation also was I asked Pat how he might compare, or we were talking about freshmen. We had seen one-and-done freshmen in the Big 12. Baylor's had their share of those guys, most recently VJ Edgecombe last year, Jeremy Sohan, guys like that before him. But I said, what about Kevin Durant? Does this guy remind you of or compare to Kevin Durant? And Pat thought for a second, and his answer was, Kevin Durant was a unicorn. He was just on a completely different level, and I think that's right. He had 1 year at the University of Texas and has had an unbelievable professional career, and that's probably right. Maybe it's not even fair to compare these guys to Kevin Durant, but did bring up the thought. Debonsa was great. Rob Wright back in Foster Pavilion, played last year as a freshman point guard at Baylor, had a great year. Thought he was coming back for another year, had a contract signed to be back for this season as a sophomore, but then jumped ship and ended up at BYU. And he scored 30 points in the game last night. 30 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He had 4 steals in the game. So Rob Wright handled the atmosphere very well. He was being booed in pregame warmups, and he was just out there. Every time he would touch the ball, the students are right behind us where our broadcast spot is. And when he would shoot up a shot, this is in warmups, when he would shoot a shot and miss it, make it, there was no sound. When he'd shoot a shot pregame and miss it, these students would let him hear about it. And then all during the game, he'd be booed every time he touched the ball. And he'd go to the free throw line. There was chance of traitor, toward Rob Wright. But I've got to say that's sort of what we expected and probably what he expected coming back to Waco, having jilted the Bears and left at the last second last year. But as far as I know, and I haven't had a chance to double check this morning, but nobody crossed the line as far as, cheering against him or cheering against BYU. So that's good. Kudos to our fans for doing that and keeping it above board and just supporting Baylor and not going across the line against BYU. But Rob Wright was really good last night also. So two guys, 66 points between them, 66 of their 99 were from those two guys, A.J. DeBonsa and Rob Wright. For Baylor, it was kind of a three-headed monster, but 37 points by Tunde Yesufu, the freshman for the Bears. 37 is the most by a Baylor freshman since Lacedarius Dunn had 38 in a game against Texas Tech in 2008. It's the most since for Baylor since Makai Mason had 40 for the Bears in a game in 2000. I'm looking for the stat exactly. I'm trying to remember what year that was. 37. Makai Mason had 40 against TCU February 2nd of 2019. And how about this? 37 points by Tunde Yesufu last night, most by any Baylor player against a ranked team in Baylor history. No other Baylor player has scored more points in a game against a ranked opponent than Tunde did last night. 9 higher scoring games, higher than 37 points, call came against unranked opponents. So Tunde did something no Baylor players ever done last night. This was interesting. Note on X last night, BYU's A.J. DeBonsa, 36, Baylor's Tunde Yesufu, 37, are the first opposing freshmen to score at least 35 points in the same D1 game in 12 years. So that's something that hadn't been done in a while there. And tonight was the first time, this may be the biggest Big 12 related stat from the game last night. First time ever there were 3 30-point scores in a game involving at least one Big 12 team in history. Never happened before. Not just a Big 12 conference game, but involving one Big 12 school. Never happened before to have 3 players scoring 30 or more points. So that was the game last night. 99-94 the final. Those turnovers were a real factor. 37 by Yesufu. Cameron Carr, 24 points in the game. He had an outstanding game. And then Caden Powell, 13 points, most in a Big 12 game for Caden Powell last night. Obi Agbum had only 6. He'd been scoring. He had been in double figure scoring 5 games in a row, but just wasn't himself, wasn't that same player last night. Didn't take a lot of shots, 2 of 6 overall, 6 total points. So missing his production last night. Isaac Williams had a really nice night at the opposite guard, 12 points, 7 assists, and 1 turnover by Isaac Williams in the game. But 99-94 the final. Points in the paint were telling in the game last night. BYU had 64 paint points. 64. And that is a lot. If you're wondering, okay, what does that mean? What's the reference? 64 is a lot out of 99 total points. And when I say paint points, what that is, points in the paint, the free throw line area right there, 64 of their 99 points came in the paint for BYU. Turnovers, too much to overcome. Here's, listen now to Scott Drew following the game last night, the 5-point loss to 22nd ranked BYU.
Freshman performances, I think you saw a great one tonight. AJ was tremendous. I think what was really impressive was 7 assists, 1 turnover. I know just watching some of the past games, he started out at Oklahoma State with several turnovers, and he's always going to score, but when he has 7 assists, 1 turnover, it's really tough. And I thought Rob, obviously, there's a reason we loved him last year. We've seen a lot of that, and those two guys were really good. I thought our goal of trying to make them shoot jump shots didn't work very well because they got to the rim way too many times. And really proud of, I thought we had some really gutsy efforts. Obi, I don't know what he did, but he got injured early in the game and came out, and appreciate his toughness going back in, but obviously he wasn't what we're used to seeing. Tunde, I think the most efficient game he's played. 37 points is one thing, but 5 for 8, 8 for 8, 12 for 19 in a big one, 3 assists, 1 turnover. I thought he did a lot of really good things. Cam, Isaac, Mikey had 3 assists, 0 turnovers. Big thing, difference in the game was our turnovers. We come off of Iowa State, who's a pressure team. They force a ton of turnovers. We do a great job and only have 9. And then we come in, and BYU's a gap team. They do a good job staying between them and their man in the basket. But a lot of those turnovers, we self-inflicted wounds. And you can't win until you take losing out of it. And to lose 18 points on turnovers, you're not going to beat a good team and a well-coached team.
Scott Drew following the game last night. Foster Pavilion, Bears fall to BYU 99-94. Interesting comment he made there at the end. You can't win until you take losing out of the equation. And he said that to us on the radio last night also. He said that came from Ron Sanchez, the new associate head coach for Baylor, came here after many years at Virginia. Last year, the interim head coach at Virginia. Ron is he doesn't have this title, but quote unquote, the defensive coach, defensive coordinator for Baylor basketball. That's a really interesting thought. You can't win until you take losing out of the equation. And I would take that to mean that you can't beat yourself, like the turnovers was the reference that he made there in hurting yourself last night. And then turnovers ended up ultimately being just too much for Baylor to overcome. So the Bears fall to 13-11 overall, 3-9 in Big 12 play, step out of Big 12 play next play. The Louisville Cardinals coming up on Saturday. This would have been the open date for Baylor, but they fill it with a non-conference game. This is the final non-conference game for any Big 12 school. And that game will be 3 o'clock Saturday, Dickies Arena in Fort Worth. And we'll talk more about that as the week progresses. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, look around the Big 12 from last night. Not just Baylor and BYU, some other interesting results. How about the Frogs? They pull off a big win over 5th-ranked Iowa State in Fort Worth last night. We'll look at all that when we come back. John Morris Show, presented by the Brazos Landing and Alliance Bank. Hey, big doings going on at the Brazos Landing this week. Their Valentine's special comes up this weekend, not just Saturday the 14th, but all weekend, 13th, 14th, and 15th at the Brazos Landing. We and they would encourage you to make reservations because it will be the place to be this weekend for Valentine's weekend. 254-753-2778 is the number for reservations, or go online, look at their menu. You can make reservations online as well at thebrazoslanding.com. Thebrazoslanding.com, located right on the river, right across from Foster Pavilion, right across the interstate from McLean Stadium. Great location and a great spot for this Valentine's weekend festivities. Check it out, thebrazoslanding.com. Alliance Bank Central Texas understands that banking is about people. From first accounts to business growth, they actively partner with Central Texas businesses and families to help meet their financial goals. A variety of online products and services make banking easy without compromising the personalized banking experiences they are known for. Customer-focused banking isn't just what they do, it's who they are. Alliance Bank Central Texas, serving Central Texas across 7 convenient locations and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at Brazos Landing. Located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium and close to downtown Waco. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Enjoy yummy crab cakes, oysters Rockefeller, seafood gumbo, braised beef short rib, prime New York steaks, chicken dishes, and more. Plus a delicious dessert menu. Check them out at brazoslanding.com.
At DeCampley's Italian Ristorante, we are committed to providing an authentic Italian experience. Through exceptional service, delicious food, and a family environment, we want our guests to create memories that they will want to share with their family and friends. Open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays. Make your reservation today. Check us out on Facebook and at decampleys.com.
My name is David Maddox, owner of Waco Foundation Repair. I've been in business right at 20 years, incorporated since 2003, and nonstop, very busy business to be in. We stay plenty busy with this good old Central Texas ground that constantly moves and does its thing. If you think you have foundation repair issues, call Waco Foundation Repair today.
Is your vehicle in need of service or repairs? Visit Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center and get 10% off with a valid student ID. With ASE certified technicians, you can trust Freddie Kish to provide excellent service. Offering complete car care services foreign and domestic, from general maintenance to major repairs, Freddie Kish has got you covered. You can rest assured you're in good hands. Awarded the ASE Blue Seal of Excellence, quality is a guarantee. So hurry over to Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center.
And welcome back. John Morris Show, presented by the Brazos Landing and Alliance Bank Central Texas. Alliance Bank Central Texas is your Central Texas business bank, voted by Forbes 2025 Best in-State Banks. Alliance Bank Central Texas values their relationships with their customers and their communities, with several locations across Central Texas. AllianceBankTexas.com. Great folks over there, very hospitable every time you go in any of the locations. I usually stop by the one on Highway 84. Ricky Thompson offices there, Eric Sharrow, Todd Moore, all the great folks at Alliance Bank Central Texas. Go in and tell me if you don't feel the warmth and friendliness whenever you walk through the door. The ladies that are closest to the door, someone is going to say, "Hi, welcome, glad you're here." I promise you that will happen when you walk through the doors. So thanks to Alliance Bank Central Texas. All right, let's look at the other games. Big 12 men's basketball from last night. Jerry Hill, Baylor Insider, will join us next segment. How about the one in Fort Worth? TCU beat number 5 Iowa State 62-55 last night. Iowa State, with the win over Baylor, moved up 2 spots to number 5 in the nation. Then they go on the road and fall by 7 to the TCU Horned Frogs. I listened. Ours was the early game. Ours was a 6 p.m. Central Time tip-off, Baylor and BYU. The other games were all 8 p.m. tip-off. So driving home, I'm scanning, Sirius XM, and I find TCU and Iowa State, and it's right before halftime. And no, it wasn't. It was, it was. It was right before halftime when I picked it up. And TCU was making a run. They were down by 9 in the first half. They went on a 10-0 run, and it was a 1-point game at halftime against Iowa State last night. And then I got home and kept up with it a little bit, but sort of put it away, and then caught the very end of it. TCU finished the game on a 12-0 run to beat Iowa State by 7. How about that? Cyclones, number 5 team in the nation. And TCU picks up their 4th quad 1 win of the season. That is impressive for Jamie Dixon and the Frogs. So a really, really big win. Iowa State, I think you look at their results and they're just a different team away from Hilton Coliseum. And that's not saying, oh, that's why Baylor lost to Iowa State, because it was in Ames. It's not. They're just a different team, and they're not a bad team away from home, but they are just much, much better when they play in Hilton Coliseum. So big win by the Frogs last night, 17 apiece by Tanner Toulson and Micah Robinson. And TCU is, they're sneaking in there into the conversation, at least for a postseason berth. They're 5-6 in the league. And I think if you finish 500 or better, maybe even 8-10 in the Big 12 this year, you're going to be in the NCAA tournament. And there's TCU with another quad 1 win, their 4th of the year, and they are 5-6 in the league. Iowa State drops to 8-3 in the conference with the loss. They would be alone in 4th place right now in the Big 12 standings. Also from last night, 3rd-ranked Houston knocked off Utah 66-52. Final score there. Significant because with the win, Houston gets to 10-1 and now tied with Arizona for the Big 12 lead. Both the Arizona Wildcats and the Houston Cougars are 10-1 in the Big 12 conference. And I was looking ahead. Did they play each other coming up? No, it's Houston and Iowa State who play each other on Monday. Iowa State plays hosts Kansas on Saturday, so that'll be good. The other game from last night, bit of a surprise in Tempe. Arizona State beat Oklahoma State 85-76. Cowboys, it seemed like, now they got drilled last weekend by Arizona, but a lot of teams have. But it seemed like Oklahoma State was starting to find their way, and then they go on the road and lose to Arizona State. But just a bit surprising to see the Sun Devils win that game over the Oklahoma State Cowboys last night. So those are the 4 games from last night in the Big 12. On the men's side, there are 2 games coming up tonight. Colorado plays at 16th-ranked Texas Tech. That'll be on ESPN+. And Cincinnati plays at Kansas State on the CBS Sports Network at 8 o'clock tonight. The Colorado at Tech game is at 7 o'clock coming up this evening. So as the dust settles from last night in the Big 12, now a tie for first in the league. That is Arizona and Houston, both 10-1 in conference play. Kansas with the big win over Arizona on Monday. They would sit in 3rd at 9-2, just a game back. Iowa State is 8-3. Texas Tech is 7-3. 6-5 for UCF, West Virginia, and BYU. And then TCU, as we mentioned, at 5-6 in Big 12 conference play. I'm not sure if I mentioned this yesterday, but I heard or watched an interview with Joey Buckets, Joe Lenardi, and he was thinking 7 Big 12 schools in. I mean, I think that's got to be the bottom 7. You look at those standings right now, and there's still a lot of games to be played. But, man, Big 12 may have a legitimate shot, 8, maybe 9 teams to get in the NCAA tournament. But, again, a lot of games yet to be played over the course of this season. So those are the results from last night in the Big 12 Conference. And another wild night, and we'll have more on this tomorrow. But the Baylor women with a big game coming up tomorrow night, Thursday night, 6 p.m. in Foster Pavilion. A gold game for the women, as it was for the men last night. 12th-ranked Baylor hosting 17th-ranked TCU for first place in the Big 12 Conference. Right now, Baylor sits a half game ahead of TCU in the league standings at 10-2, and there's a ton of promotions to go along with this game coming up tomorrow night. We'll talk more about that with Jerry Hill when he joins us coming up next segment, but big game for the Baylor women. First place showdown in the Big 12 tomorrow. Baylor versus TCU right here in River City. So that'll be fun, and we'll talk more about that with Jerry Hill and talk more about that leading into game day coming up tomorrow. One other thing to mention that I just remembered from last night, Baylor and BYU, the post-game handshake line. Now, Garrett's shaking his head. What do you know about this? What did you see about this?
That was the fastest handshake I've ever seen Scott Drew give a head coach in my life.
Right.
So fast, J-Mo.
Right. And normally it does get carried on TV, and I'm guessing that's where you saw that. But Kevin Young is the head coach. Coach Drew, Coach Drew, salt of the earth, best guy in the world. But he was very disappointed with the loss. And it was a quick handshake with Kevin Young. And then Rob Wright was maybe not right behind him, but pretty close to the front of the line. And what I saw, and this is right in front of us, we're on the scores table side, and the benches are on either side of us. We're right by the Baylor bench. That's our radio setup. And so the handshake line takes place right in front of us. And Coach Drew goes by, shakes hands, and the next thing I look up and see is Coach Drew circling back to make sure he shakes hands with Rob Wright. And I'm not sure if they missed each other the first time, accidentally, not on purpose, or what happened, but Coach Drew made sure and made a point to come back and shake hands with Rob. And I thought that was very classy on Coach Drew's part. Garrett, did that show up at all, Coach Drew and Rob?
I didn't notice that aspect of it. I think my eyes were immediately locked in on him and the head coach there. Right. But if it makes sense, though, if Rob was right behind it, as quick as Drew moved, it would make sense that he wasn't even thinking or looking and seeing Rob. So for him to double back, I'm not surprised.
I think that's what it was.
I think it was too.
Yeah, I think he just sort of missed him in the first walk through the line there. But Coach Drew did make a point to come back and shake Rob's hand after his 30-point game last night. So, again, shows the class of Scott Drew, and nobody would ever question that in any way. So that was an interesting aspect of the game, post-game last night. Let's talk about all of that. Baylor men's basketball, women's basketball, softball, baseball, tennis, golf, all that, track and field. Jerry Hill joins us after a break. The professor, Jerry Hill, will join us. John Morris Show presented by the Brazos Landing and Alliance Bank. Also brought to you by Kish's Complete Car Care Center. Family-owned and operated Kish's Complete Car Care in Waco has been serving Waco drivers since 1998. Voted #1 auto shop year after year, located on Franklin Avenue, open Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30. Call now for your next repair at Kish's Complete Car Care. Jerry Hill joins us after a break. John Morris Show. We'll be right back.
If I'm only wearing one suit this summer, it has to be Tuileries Performance Linen. It's wrinkle resistant, machine washable, and built with stretch and breathability that actually moves with you. It'll keep you cool, sharp, and stress-free at your next event.
Some of the best foods that you can eat are very simple foods. So we selected very lean proteins and put them on the best trajectory, the best plane to live a healthy life.
I had a panic moment running my hands through my hair, and that's when I found Keeps. Keeps gave me the results that I was really looking for.
I definitely felt a lot more confident once I saw my hair coming back.
Keeps has given me the control of my hair back.
Get your first month free at Keeps.com.
Introducing Bark in the Belly Premium Dog Food. 100% of profits go to help dogs in need.
Bidets.com, where we sell mini bidets, not mini bidets.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at Brazos Landing. Located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium and close to downtown Waco. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Enjoy yummy crab cakes, oysters Rockefeller, seafood gumbo, braised beef short rib, prime New York steaks, chicken dishes, and more. Plus a delicious dessert menu. Check them out at brazoslanding.com.
Finance is evolving. Automation, data analytics, and AI are reshaping what finance teams do every single day. The best way to predict the future of finance is to be ready for it. If you want a head start, check out 365 Financial Analyst.
Alliance Bank Central Texas understands that banking is about people. From first accounts to business growth, they actively partner with Central Texas businesses and families to help meet their financial goals. A variety of online products and services make banking easy without compromising the personalized banking experiences they are known for. Customer-focused banking isn't just what they do, it's who they are. Alliance Bank Central Texas, serving Central Texas across 7 convenient locations and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender. John Morris Show presented by the Brazos Landing and Alliance Bank. It is a Wednesday morning. If you're watching us live, we appreciate it very much. If you're watching the archive version, thank you very much. You're going to want to maybe watch this live and then go back and watch it again. So much information coming from our next guest as we welcome in the Professor Jerry Hill, who joins us now. And Jerry, good morning to you.
Good morning, J-Mo. How are you?
Welcome. Thank you. I'm doing great. Thanks very much. Can I do this reset for people who may just be discovering us and don't know the depth of your successes? Jerry works in the athletic department, and he's our director of sports journalism. He also teaches a class on sports writing on the campus. So there's where the professor comes in. He is a proud graduate of the University of North Texas, which he'll always refer to as North Texas State. Jerry is also very proud to be the reigning Connect 4 champion when we have our athletic department get together in the summer. And are you still the reigning champion, or did somebody knock you off?
I don't remember us having one prior to
have one this year, did we?
Yeah, we did not have one. So I am the defending reigning champion of Connect 4.
That's exactly right. Yes. So you can see Jerry Hill, a Renaissance man, joins us, and so much of his success, and his office right across the hall from mine. So we spend a lot of time together, and glad we can do it on the air here. Thanks for being on with us.
Thanks, J-Mo.
You bet. All right, let's start with most recent, maybe men's basketball from last night. Interested in your thoughts. Baylor, a tough loss, did some good things. Tunde Yesufu was unbelievable, but still fell by 5 to BYU.
Yeah, John, I think if you were able to watch that maybe impartially, like just watch the game, you could really enjoy watching unbelievable talent on the floor, like AJ for BYU, and then obviously Tunde for Baylor, Rob Wright for BYU, Cam Carr for Baylor. There were pros on that court, and so in that sense, it was fun to watch. Baylor, I thought, like you said, I mean, it's a disappointing loss, but it's similar, I guess, a little bit to the Iowa State loss. Like, you were down, you came back, you made it close there at the end, but just not enough. But I think this team continues to show fight. That's what I see in them. They obviously have some things to work out. But considering their limited rotation, the fact that they were able to, not just play with BYU, but stay right there with them, you had to be impressed by that. Because looking at the teams and, mano a mano, that kind of thing, I think BYU was clearly the better team. But Baylor, gave them a fight and like I said, was right there in it till the very end. But yeah, I just thought it was a fun game to watch.
It really was. It was another great showcase for the Big 12. I mean, two teams in the Big 12 duking it out, and some unbelievable performances. How about Tunde? 37 points. Not a freshman record, but the most ever by a Baylor player against a ranked opponent. How about that?
Wow, that was amazing. And yeah, like I said, watching him and then AJ kind of go at it, and I guess they were on the McDonald's All-America team together. They've had some other time, I guess maybe at Nike Hoop, that they went against each other. So there's a little bit of history there. And I think this game kind of motivated both of them. You could just tell, and I had not seen AJ, and I was just totally impressed. I was like, early on, I was like, how can you even stop this guy? I mean, you feel like you got him in front of you and all that, and then he just one step and he's by you. So he was fun to watch. But then I think Tunde he kind of took it to another level. He's gotten so good, John, at that mid-range jumper, particularly when he posts up and does the turnaround jumper. Man, he is got that down. And I'm not sure if he had talked to you about this before, but I didn't know it. But he said he was a Kobe fan, growing up, and that turnaround jumper definitely does have some Kobe look to it. So, he was just he was fun to watch. Both of them were, but it was just you saw the talent on the floor, and I think AJ said in the post, see him at the next level. So I think you'll see both of those guys at the next level.
Yeah, I think that's true. I thought our fans were really good last night. Students were there. They were into it early. They were giving the business to Rob Wright, as you might expect. But I also think that our fans were very good and never crossed the line last night. Is that your takeaway also?
Yeah, absolutely, John. And what's funny is I thought, because I missed the before the game, so I guess they were doing this before the game too. But then at some point during the game, I heard them chanting, and I thought it was Baylor, but it was Trader.
Trader, right?
So, but again, they were having fun with it. Like you said, I never thought Baylor fan, at least that I could hear or see. I didn't feel like they crossed the line. They just, they were into the game and were respectful, I think. And Rob talked post game too, and he expected what he got. And I thought he handled it really well. It did not seem to rattle him. Scored 30 points, and I think he was maybe just off his career high. But most he had scored in Foster Pavilion. Let's put it that way.
That's a good point. No, I thought the fans were really, really good last night. And let me mention this also. Kudos to our facilities folks and operations people. They were prepared. They wanted to make sure at the end of the game that BYU got off the floor safely, and they did. And they even had this covered tunnel area where the visiting team goes off to their locker room.
Yeah.
That's never been covered before.
Right.
They had that there and ready last night. So our folks behind the scenes did a really good job just being prepared.
Yeah, and John, I agree, totally agree. And I heard y'all talking about the post-game handshake, and I did see Scott loop back around, and I think you were dead on. I think he just kind of missed him on that first time. Wasn't like it wasn't intentional at all. Right. But the fact that he did come back and shake his hand, and I noticed Rob hugging several of the guys and stuff. He doesn't know other than maybe Cam, he doesn't know any of them. So. I thought that was cool. And one thing I want to say about BYU fans too, they came out. I don't know that I've seen that. I mean, particularly an out-of-state team, and I know, as Bryce Cherry said, there's Mormons everywhere, but they were out in force and they were chanting. And like I said, I was finishing up something pregame in the early part of the game. And I couldn't tell sitting down there in the media room, who was scoring when they were scoring early. Because the crowd, I mean, they were that loud when BYU did anything, but particularly they were late in the game. I just was struck by how many fans were there and how loud they were.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Bryce is right. What we found out the last few years is these fans don't necessarily come from Provo to follow the team. They're just, probably Mormon and are in this area. So whenever BYU plays in this area or anywhere close, they come out. And we've seen it at McLean Stadium, and we saw it last night.
Absolutely. And, and I'll say too about their fans. I remember, going up there for the first time for football. Fans were great. So, I think there's a respect there, and it showed last night as well.
Yeah, they give ice cream from their creamery to the visiting fans at their football stadium, which you don't get that everywhere, believe me. All right, so last night, tough loss for the men. They play Louisville, another top 25 opponent coming up on Saturday. The Baylor women, a big game coming up tomorrow night. Boy, that is shaping up as a real game. Kudos to ESPN. They selected this preseason as a national ESPN broadcast, and it's lived up to it so far.
Yeah, it's incredible, John. This is, I'd say this is one of the bigger games in Foster Pavilion in the short history of it. With both of those teams, right there at the top of the standings. I didn't even know until maybe Monday that TCU had lost on Sunday. So they're actually a game behind Baylor. But essentially, this is for first place in conference, and Baylor could certainly create some separation if they win this one and put them in great position, I would say, to at least share the championship if they can win Thursday night.
Yeah. And a lot of promotions associated with this. Our marketing team is doing a great job. They're pulling out all the stops, aren't they, to get a great crowd there tomorrow night.
Yeah. I mean, got a magician before the game. You got, promotions for the students, $5 tickets, concession discounts. So I don't think you can come up with an excuse not to be there Thursday night. And John, I don't know about you, but I kind of like 6 o'clock games. That was kind of neat yesterday to be able. I'm walking out, after media and everything. I'm leaving a little after 9 o'clock, and I'm like, well, this is cool.
That's kind of nice.
Still got a little part of the evening left,
Right. I agree completely. And that game tomorrow night is 6 o'clock.
Yes.
Baylor women versus TCU. All right. Let's touch on some other sports. Acrobatics and tumbling got their season underway. The win over St. Leo, and they go to Azusa Pacific this weekend. But sort of a predictable start to the season. We would say, Fee would not say, right?
Well, and she looks at that first one and she sees all the mistakes. She sees the areas where they can improve, and they won by 21 over a team that's ranked like 11th in the country. So that just tells you how focused she is on their team, not really even on the opponent. Is just, hey, these are areas where we can get better. But I thought it was a great debut. Coming off the documentary that was just put out there. So, Fee does Fee things. She just keeps carrying on. And John, this, I haven't asked her this question. I don't know if, with the NCAA status, will NCATA still have championships? But essentially, this could be the last NCATA national championship. And that means that Fee, if she wins this year, would have won every NCATA national championship.
That's right. That's a great point.
Yeah.
No, you're right. I mean, they become NCAA championships next year.
Yeah.
So they need to finish it off with
an
11th straight for Baylor, and that'll be 15 straight for
15. Yeah.
If they win it. Softball got the season underway and 4-1 through the weekend. What'd you think about that? 4 wins and 3 of them walk-off wins.
Yeah, that's incredible, John. What a great comeback too, because they got blitzed in that first one against Mississippi State. Run ruled at home, but then they just came back and 3 gutsy wins, and then beat Northwestern State in that last game of the Getterman Classic, and then came back last night and beat South Dakota State 10-2. So 5-1 start. That's a great start for them. And then they go to San Diego this weekend for a tournament there. So, kudos to that team, because it's a very young team. That's what scared me is, we had done media that week before, and Glenn talked about how young they are, and they're very young. But in some cases that can be good. They're young and dumb, I guess. They don't know that they're not supposed to, have 3 straight walk-off wins.
Right.
And as Glenn has said, you can't count on that every time. But don't tell them that. That's what they've seen. So
let me write that down. Young and dumb.
Young and dumb. Yeah.
Yeah. And then baseball begins this weekend. Big build up to this team. And, man, I'm excited about the prospects, excited to see them on the field which would be Magnolia Field at Baylor Ballpark, beginning on Friday.
Yeah, absolutely, John. Mitch is fourth year? Is that right?
Mm-hmm. I think
so. His fourth year, and I think he's continued to bring in good talent, go through the transfer portal, go through the JC ranks, and yeah, I'm excited about this team specifically, I think, like with most teams, they'll be as good as their pitching, and I think they have some veteran arms there, but they also have some young guys that they're going to count on. So yeah, I think it'll be fun to watch this weekend in Mexico State, Magnolia Field at Baylor Ballpark. I like the sound of that.
I know, I like it. I think that is great. All right, let's also touch on your sports, men's and women's golf, who've been in action this week.
Yeah, they finished up yesterday. The men at Bentwater in Montgomery, Texas. Which apparently I didn't know this, but Faith Lynch's parents grew up on that course. So,
oh, really? Wow.
So yeah, she saw the email come from me at Bentwater, and she was like, "Wow, does Jerry know my parents?" But yeah, they struggled at the start, John. Obviously, first tournament under interim head coach Ryan Murphy after Mike McGraw stepped down, retired from coaching to take care of his wife. So they struggled in that first round, but really came back and had their best round in the last round. So I think there's something to build off there. Alex Hurd finished in the top 10, so good finish for him. And Tyler Sanford in his first collegiate tournament. He had been here since August or whatever, and he had not played in a tournament, not even as an individual. And he goes out there and he shoots 70 in the second round under par. Oh. And winds up, I think he tied for 27th overall, but great start for him. He wasn't in the lineup. He was playing as an individual, but great start for him. And then the women, they went to a tournament in Arizona and did great. Stanford was there, and I can tell you Stanford is loaded. I looked at John, and they have 5 players that are ranked in the top 25. And one of them wasn't even in the lineup, but won the tournament. She ranked like 6, so I don't know how she wasn't in the lineup. But she won the tournament as an individual. Baylor finished second and had a top 10 finish, from Celia Oma. So great start for them, too. That was their 7th consecutive top 5 finish.
Wow. All right, and let's mention before we go, men's tennis, big win over Texas A&M, and now hosting the ITA Indoor Nationals beginning on Friday.
Yeah, that's right, John. And they're getting UCF conference foe in the first round, 3:30 p.m. Friday. And yeah, that was a huge win against A&M, and what an incredible match. They lost the doubles point, but they came back and won all 6 first sets in singles, and then finished it out when I think they won 2 or 3 of the matches in 3 sets. But man, great win for them. Good, build up to go into this tournament. First couple of rounds, it's split between Baylor and SMU, but we play the first couple of rounds here, and then the semifinals and finals will be up at SMU. So Baylor with a chance to really make some noise here. I believe they're seeded 5th, and they're playing 4th-seeded UCF. So it should be a fun tournament. Great weekend, John. I just wish there was something else going on this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are at this point in the spring, right? When you got 10 things going on.
Yeah, yeah.
Hey, man, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Appreciate it.
All right, we'll see you. That's Jerry Hill, Baylor Insider. Great to get his insight on all things Baylor athletics. Nobody better to do and talk to about that than Jerry Hill. We'll take a break, be back, look ahead, wrap things up, share some birthdays with you on this 11th day of February. We are brought to you in part by Waco Foundation Repair. Thanks to David Maddox, locally owned and operated. Waco Foundation Repair believes in one principle: one family helping another. They provide a full range of foundation repairs. They don't just do the job, they do it right. WacoFoundationRepair.com. Take a break. Be right back. John Morris Show presented by the Brazos Landing and Alliance Bank, Central Texas. And we'll return right after this.
For anyone that's in the car buying mode or looking for a car right now or a truck, I would definitely come by Allen Samuels, get to know the people here like I have, how well I'm taking care of the dealership and how well, service and any kind of warranty issues and those sort of things. Because of the way they take care of me, it's made me a Ram driver. And so I don't think they'd want to go anywhere else if they came here.
Like Allen Samuels always said, Waco has a lot to offer, and so do we at Allen Samuels Dodge, Chrysler, Jeep, Ram, Fiat. Come by, let's be friends.
It's a great meditation sport. It's just yourself. You get out here, feeling the rhythm, feeling the rhyme. It's a good time.
Gives me the opportunity to hang out with the fellas for about 5 hours, and I get some solitude, relaxation, and a great time.
Malban Golf.
As life goes on, it settles into patterns. But it doesn't have to go that way. You just have to do one thing. Get out of the house. Get out of your comfort zone. Leave room for the unexpected.
American Tourister. Is your vehicle in need of service or repairs? Visit Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center and get 10% off with a valid student ID. With ASE certified technicians, you can trust Freddie Kish to provide excellent service. Offering complete car care services foreign and domestic, from general maintenance to major repairs, Freddie Kish has got you covered. You can rest assured you're in good hands. Awarded the ASE Blue Seal of Excellence, quality is a guarantee. So hurry over to Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center.
For those who want the best, look no further than the Founders Series by Louisiana Grills. If you want the best food, then you need the best grill. Louisiana Grills.
At DeCampli's Italian Ristorante, we are committed to providing an authentic Italian experience. Through exceptional service, delicious food, and a family environment, we want our guests to create memories that they will want to share with their family and friends. Open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays. Make your reservation today. Check us out on Facebook and at decamplis.com.
Welcome back. Final segment, John Morris Show on a Wednesday. Do appreciate Jerry Hill being on with us. We appreciate you tuning in as well. We like to do birthdays here in the final segment. Garrett, let me know if you have any birthdays to chime in with. But on my list, it's Eric Heff's birthday. Who is Eric? He is the longtime color analyst, football and basketball for Iowa State. We saw John Walters and Eric this past weekend in Ames, and they are always very hospitable. So happy birthday to Eric Heft today from Ames, Iowa. Marilyn Crone's birthday, retired from Baylor. Danielle Fontenot, Danielle Crockram Fontenot, former Baylor women's standout. Her birthday is today. Gosh, she was outstanding. Had a great career, and I think I'm right. Danielle spanned the coaching change when Kim Mulkey came in. I think that's right. That was the time that she was here. And I know this is right. Danielle, if you talk to her about her career, maybe the first thing she would bring up was she finished with 999 career rebounds. And she says, couldn't you have found one more rebound? Exactly. Find one rebound somewhere. But 999, that's a great career. So happy birthday. She's down in the Houston area to Danielle Crockram, now Danielle Crockram Fontenot. And Kyron Anderson, formerly with the Big 12 office. I'd say formerly. I don't think he's still there. Maybe he is, but happy birthday to Kyron Anderson as well. Any to add, Garrett?
None today. I will have something on Friday.
Friday. The day. All right. We'll do it then. We'll do it again on Friday. Well, we're going to wrap things up here for this hour today. And again, John Morris Show presented by the Brazos Landing. Remember all the Valentine's specials that are available this weekend. Great Valentine's menu. We'll tell you more about that in the next couple of days. But make reservations if you want to go to the Brazos Landing this weekend and enjoy their Valentine's specials. You're going to need a reservation. Go to thebrazoslanding.com. You can make reservations online. You can see the special menu there as well, or give them a call, 254-753-2778. for the Brazos Landing in Waco. Thanks also to Alliance Bank Central Texas. Thanks to Jerry Hill, who was on with us, Baylor Insider. Always fun to visit with Jerry. One part that I left out, and when I get back to the office, he'll correct me about this, that I left out mentioning, Garrett. He was the and I don't have the right wording, the University of North Texas Journalism Student of the Year.
Oh.
Something in 1983.
That's a big, like, with them being a journalist school,
that's right.
A big deal.
That's exactly
that's
right.
Awesome, Jerry.
So I left that part out, and he'll mock me for not mentioning that. And I'll get the correct wording for the next time we have Jerry on. But appreciate him. He is North Texas grad, but he is Baylor through and through. So appreciate him and his friendship very, very much. All right, we appreciate you being with us. Tomorrow we'll be all over that Baylor TCU women's game, which is tomorrow night, 6 p.m. at Foster Pavilion. Hope you can join us then, and we do appreciate your subscribing and tuning in to the John Morris Show, presented by the Brazos Landing and Alliance Bank. Have a great Wednesday. Alliance Bank Central Texas understands that banking is about people, from first accounts to business growth. They actively partner with Central Texas businesses and families to help meet their financial goals. A variety of online products and services make banking easy without compromising the personalized banking experiences they are known for. Customer-focused banking isn't just what they do, it's who they are. Alliance Bank Central Texas, serving Central Texas across 7 convenient locations and at alliancebanktexas.com. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Enjoy a quiet atmosphere with beautiful river views at Brazos Landing. Located in Waco along the Brazos River across from McLean Stadium and close to downtown Waco. Open for lunch and dinner Tuesday through Sunday. Enjoy yummy crab cakes, oysters Rockefeller, seafood gumbo, braised beef short rib, prime New York steaks, chicken dishes, and more. Plus a delicious dessert menu. Check them out at brazoslanding.com.
At DeCampli's Italian Ristorante, we are committed to providing an authentic Italian experience. Through exceptional service, delicious food, and a family environment, we want our guests to create memories that they will want to share with their family and friends. Open for lunch and dinner Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays. Make your reservation today. Check us out on Facebook and at decampleys.com.
My name is David Maddox, owner of Waco Foundation Repair. I've been in business right at 20 years, incorporated since 2003, and nonstop, very busy business to be in. We stay plenty busy with this good old Central Texas ground that constantly moves and does its thing. If you think you have foundation repair issues, call Waco Foundation Repair today.
Is your vehicle in need of service or repairs? Visit Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center and get 10% off with a valid student ID. With ASE certified technicians, you can trust Freddie Kish to provide excellent service. Offering complete car care services, foreign and domestic, from general maintenance to major repairs, Freddie Kish has got you covered. You can rest assured you're in good hands. Awarded the ASE Blue Seal of Excellence, quality is a guarantee. So hurry over to Freddie Kish's Complete Car Care Center.